Jared Goralnick, founder and CEO of AwayFind. I have to tell you, Jared, I love the fact.
You love this one. You've been
I
talking
love
about
it.
it all
I can't
day.
help it. It's because it can already use it with my Gmail. So this is an application that's designed to address email headache, email interruptions. You know, you're constantly looking through your email while you're trying to work, and of course, you know, the whole kitties and, well, I won't talk about that, videos that you know that coworkers send you, get you pulled off in a different direction, and the next thing you know, half an hour's gone by, an hour's gone by, and you've wasted all this time. So this is a great way to have your email closed and still be able to get the important messages. So, Mark, I'm sorry, but I kind of already set it up on my computer.
Did you?
Well, yeah, and I set it so that anything from Mark Jeffrey is not urgent. So, sorry, I'm kidding. Come on. So, Jared, I'll let you talk for a second. Where did the idea for AwayFind come from?
Well, actually, I started a business in '02 that was really focused on productivity training.
Yeah.
And specifically kind of in office with desktop applications. We wanted to save people half an hour more a day. And we realized over the years, like by '05, '06, that half of people's days were being taken by communications. And
half?
we started to look
Literally half?
Literally half of their day. Now, some of that's good communication. Some of that's necessary. But a couple hours of every day, a lot of the studies have shown, is actually interruptions and the cost of getting back on track. And that's not what people are paid to do, and it's not what people enjoy doing. So the question is how do you get people back into flow and into being proactive with scheduling their days? So that's kind of what we built this tool for. I really wanted to help people with attention management and being able to focus on what they really wanted to do at work or be able to escape from their email when they're on their trips.
Right. I mean, I think for me, it's the anxiety. I feel like if I shut my email for even half an hour to focus on something, I'm going to miss something really important from Mark. So
See,
you didn't hear that, right? Okay.
I did hear it.
And I don't want to get in trouble by the boss man, if he's got something important for me to do and I'm supposed to do it within the half hour that I've got my email closed.
It can be a problem.
So that's one thing I found really exciting about this when I played around with it, is that you can have your email program shut and you can still get those important messages that you set up. So I can get an instant message, I can get an SMS, I can even get a tweet that says, hey, Mark's trying to get a hold of you, or you have a deadline with Mark. So
it's like a firewall.
Kind of.
And so you let the good stuff through and the bad stuff or the stuff you want to deal with later out.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Huh. Now, Jared, you guys were at the Under the Radar Cloud Conference as well, right? Oh, I think we've lost Jared for a minute. Well, that's okay because I can ramble on about this. I love it. Oh, there you are.
Sorry.
Yeah,
we lost you for a second. It's okay.
Sorry about that. Yes, I was at the Cloud Conference.
So what's the aha moment that everybody has when they first look at AwayFind? Like, what kind of response do you get from people?
Some people miss the point in terms of thinking like, oh, like my BlackBerry already gives me notifications. The aha is the idea that they realize, well, wait a second, I can turn those, and wait a second, yes, you're right, 99% of the messages I receive just don't demand my time. So what we really found is once we started making that really clear and putting it right in their email application as opposed to making them have to go to our website, that people really got the message very quickly, and that they started to feel real comfortable with closing their application.
You know what this reminds me of? I'm sorry, I just have to bring this up. I don't know who else here is a fan of The Office, but on the season finale, Ryan does this demo of a social networking site called Woof. Now, I'm not saying that this is a social networking site, but what Woof does is whenever you get a message, it updates all of your other social networks. And so he's sitting there and, he tests it out and he sends an update, and all of a sudden the fax machine spits something out and he gets his phone rings, and then, the secretary says, you have a woof. So it kind of reminds me of that.
It's sort of like the inverse of that, though, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So you're actually getting only what you need and only the important messages. So you had some big news, too. You guys just launched on the Google Apps Marketplace.
Yep, we were one of the, I think, maybe 8 or 10 vendors that got, not only that we launched in the marketplace, but we launched with Google as a contextual gadget, like trusted beta partner or whatever.
Now, not many people do that, right? Not many people are actually doing the contextual thing yet.
Yeah, I think there's, as I said, there's fewer than a dozen, and there's some access I'm not sure that everybody has, but certainly people can start using it, developers can start using it. But we got in the early group. And it's pretty amazing. It means you actually get to be in their email, and I can show you in a moment whenever you'd like, but you literally are in the bottom of every message in email throughout an entire domain. And we don't take up much space or anything, but we give people the option of getting urgent alerts based on messages that are like that one.
All right, I have to interject something here. So remember when Mark Schuster from This Week in Venture Capital was on like 2 weeks ago, I think it was? And he said app is crap. Remember he went on a little tirade? So, and my response back to him was, well, no, actually, I was gentle about it, but I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not so sure I agree with you, because with Google and the Google App Store, you can integrate things with existing services, right?
Perfect example.
I said unified login. I didn't really think about Gmail and some of the other things. Well, here's a perfect example of where this application is integrated, is already in your Gmail. You don't have to, you just have to flip it on.
I'm telling you, all I have to do is click a button that says ignore Mark, and it's that simple.
Yes, well, you have to use it properly, of course, but you need to, but you get the idea. It's already integrated. You don't have to, there's no mucking around. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with him on this point.
Yeah,
this is why.
I would completely agree. I think that it's really difficult to become a destination website for startups. Or, I mean, if you're Facebook, if you're Yahoo or something, there's a chance people are going to visit your site. A declining chance in the latter case, but with with most small applications, especially if you're a utility and not a game, in which case your experience doesn't need to be kind of fully immersive, it makes a lot more sense to go to where everybody else is. And I think the iPhone is one of the few iPhone, Android, places like that, like phones, are one of the few places where you actually can take up the whole screen. Whereas in other cases, if it's Salesforce or if it's Outlook or any of the Google apps, then you're going to take up a portion of the screen in some kind of gadget. And that's probably the best way to do it, because you're in front of them without really changing their behavior.